All right, so let's go ahead and get this snake moving. Now, one thing I want to point out about deformers, as we're saying deformers, you're also seeing things called influences, like a morph influence right here that we added earlier in this project. And you're also going to see effectors. Well, basically, an effector and an influence put together are a deformer. So they're not necessarily three different types of things that you use to manipulate objects. They all kind of work together. Effectors provide the instructions on how to affect a target, but the influence, that comes from what is being affected. Does that make sense? So the influence determines what's being affected. The effector influences how to affect the target. The target in this case is our snake. So try not to think about that too much. Just think that those two things put together are a deformer. And that's why there is a deformers tab. The influences go inside there, and the effectors go inside there, and they deform. Now, I put together a really bad scene so you can see why it's important to get the number of locators right on your spline when you're doing a spline effector. So here's our snake, and as I move him down the x-axis, he follows my little curve, and he comes around. And, well, it's kind of okay, but the problem is, see his body right there? It's all bending and twisting. Because the amount of polygons I have in here should be okay, and I could subdivide it more. But the real problem is that I don't have enough points to make this curve the proper smoothness that I need. And the way I've actually turned and manipulated this, well, the snake is actually following it and just kind of twisting and bending. And that's not what we want. We want the body of the snake to actually stay together. Okay, so you need to create the right amount of points for what you're going to do initially, but also make sure that these locators that you're creating are not moved in such a way that it makes the object just all twisted around. Now, can you rotate these things? Not really, okay? Because the way they're working is all on the transform. It's all on the position. So you can see that I've actually kind of reversed this from where it really wants to be. And just moved it beyond its normal position, which is really, we just want to keep it relatively spaced from its initial point when we put it down. Okay, so this is called Bad Snake. You can load this one up. Let's close this out, and let's build one that works well. So open Snake 8, and then we'll call this one Good Snake when we resave it. Now the length of this thing, it's pretty long. So let's come here to View and use our Dimensions tool again. You can see that we've got a snake that is about 300 meters long. Is that right? Yeah. It's really big. And again, it's all relative, so it doesn't necessarily matter how accurate that is because I just built it. But what we're going to do then is select that snake body. In the Animate tab, under Deformers, choose Spline. And let's choose 300 meters. And the number of splines, this is where it's important. The number of locators. Now, I don't want to spend a lot of time moving these around, but let's just do 12. And you'll see that we've got a nice amount of those. But it's that spacing in between those that's really going to help you keep that shape. So locator 1's always right in the front. Here's locator 2 and 3. So what I'm going to do, we're just going to make this guy kind of turn and come up towards the camera. And then we're going to make him open his mouth. Now, we already did a nice morph on there, but you can actually use another effector, a transform effector, to open the mouth on the snake. So as I'm moving these, I want to make sure that I don't push them too far apart, which then actually deforms the snake beyond what I'm actually looking to do. So just kind of keep that in mind. Keep these knots pretty close to the original position and you should be okay. And certainly you can have a little more creative freedom than this. We're just kind of roughing through here so you get an idea of how this works. And you can see my snake starting to follow, which is good. He likes to follow the spline. This is why I didn't do a lot of these, because they are take a little time to put together. And I might be spreading them out too far here. I'm sure I am. I'm getting too ambitious. And then 2 more. This one and this one. And this last one's way stretched out, and that's going to really make a big difference in the head. We don't want that head to be all stretched out. See that? See how that last locator there makes a difference on that snake. And pull this forward a bit and to the side. All right, so now we go back to the snake body and we move it down the X because that's where we created the spline. You'll see that he travels right along there very, very nicely, and he can just slither away. Okay, so it's really not very difficult. Just, got to be tedious, and you got to keep those knots together so that he curves around. Imagine we put a really good texture on there. Oh wait, we did. Well, it's not an accurate texture, but it gets to the point. All right, so he's looking really good. Let's save this as snake. As this is good snake, sort of. Okay.